You wouldn't understand what it's like to be invisible. Not literally, of course, but the kind of invisible where people look straight through you like you're nothing. Too skinny, they'd say. Too weak. My arms looked like twigs. My ribs were always on display, and no matter how much I tried, extra meals, protein powders, gym sessions, I stayed the same.
You need to eat a burger or 10.
They'd joke, laughing at my expense. Every comment was a needle pricking at my pride. I wanted to shut them up, to make them see me as something more. That's how I ended up scrolling through shady forums at 2 a.m, looking for answers. Anything to help me gain weight, to bulk up fast. One thread caught my attention. Pumping air for a perfect body. I pressed, skeptical but desperate. The post was from someone called Body Mod Maniac, claiming to have perfected a method to gain weight and volume without fat. The trick? Injecting a mix of air and silicone beneath the skin. No gym, no calories, just precision and results. The before and after photos were shocking. Skeletal arms turned muscular, hollow cheeks filled out to chiseled jawlines. It was too good to be true, but my desperation drowned out my doubt. I ordered the supplies the next morning. Syringes, medical-grade silicone, and sterilizers. When the package arrived, my hands shook with excitement and fear. I set everything up in my cramped bathroom, triple-checking the instructions. The first injection went into my thigh, just a tiny amount, barely a puff. My heart pounded as I watched the silicone bubble beneath my skin, spreading evenly. For a second, I panicked. What if it got infected? What if something went wrong? But by the next morning, the panic was gone, replaced by awe. My thigh looked fuller, stronger, like I'd been doing squats for months. I couldn't stop touching it, marveling at how perfect it felt. I wanted more. Watching myself transform was intoxicating. People started noticing. "You've been hitting the gym, huh?" they'd say. "Looking good, man." For the first time in my life, I felt seen. I felt powerful. But there was a catch. The air didn't stay. After a couple of days, the fullness would fade, and I'd have to inject more. It wasn't a problem, though. I had plenty of silicone left. I started a routine, daily injections to maintain my new physique. I was careful at first, but the compliments kept coming, and I craved that validation. So I increased the doses, pumping more into my arms, my chest, my legs. That's when things started to change. One morning I woke up feeling off. My chest felt tight and my skin itched like it was stretched too thin. I looked in the mirror and froze. My body was bloated. Not just full, but unnaturally round. My biceps were too large, my chest too inflated. I looked like a caricature of myself. Panic set in. I grabbed a syringe, trying to deflate the excess air, but nothing came out. The silicone had hardened, sealed inside me. I told myself it was fine. I just needed to be more careful, to manage the doses better. But deep down, I knew I'd gone too far. I couldn't stop. Each day I felt the air pushing against my skin, begging for release. But instead of stopping, I doubled down. I needed to maintain my perfect image, no matter the cost. Then, one night, it happened. I was injecting my stomach when I felt a sharp pain, like a balloon stretched to its limit. My skin bulged grotesquely, veins popping out in dark blue lines. I stumbled back, gasping for air, as my chest rose unnaturally high. My body felt light. I tried to steady myself, but my feet barely touched the floor. The lightness turned into weightlessness, and before I knew it, I was floating. I clawed at the walls, desperate to ground myself, but my body lifted higher, pulling me toward the ceiling. My skin stretched painfully, every inch of me puffed up like a grotesque balloon. I crashed through the window into the cold night air. The city lights blurred below me as I rose higher and higher, the wind whipping against my bloated skin. I screamed, but no one could hear me. My body swelled with each passing second, the pressure building inside me. My joints ached, my chest burned, and my vision blurred. And then... Even though I've tried many kinds of raw meat, I have to admit this chef's skills match my taste perfectly. The fish melts in my mouth with a sweet flavor and a faint hint of blood.
Mr. Davis, you're quite the gourmet. Very few people can handle raw puffer fish without any preparation like you do.
You could say I'm addicted to eating raw meat. I enjoy the fresh taste and the natural flavor of it. Eating raw meat makes me feel excited, like a predator. My mother is the one who trained me to eat raw food. Isn't that right, Mum?
Don't joke around like that in front of adults, dear.
When I was 7, my father passed away suddenly, which sent my mother into a crisis. She blamed me for everything, her pain, her misfortune. Even now, as an adult capable of supporting the whole family, the distance between my mother and me remains unbridgeable.
You don't look too well. Your digestive system probably hasn't adjusted yet. A glass of wine will help you feel better.
This is Charles, the private chef I recently hired. His cooking skills are flawless, and he's also very observant. Truthfully, I'm feeling a bit uncomfortable, but the sweet aroma of the wine makes me feel relaxed. I suddenly want to share my thoughts and be heard. If you were locked under the stairs for 7 days, starved to the point of eating live rats, you wouldn't feel any sympathy for her either.
I'm really sorry. It sounds like you didn't have an easy childhood.
It's fine. I've already figured out a way to make her suffer.
By eating raw meat in front of her, you're quite fascinating.
After that night, Charles and I became even closer. Charles quickly understood my health condition and knew my desire to replace my daily meals entirely with raw meat. So he prepared a suitable menu to help my body gradually adapt to this new diet. The first dish was blue rare beefsteak. Both sides of the meat were seared just enough, served with butter sauce and a sprinkle of pepper. The meat remained fresh and tender without having an overpowering metallic taste. Watching the look of discomfort on Carolyn's face made the piece of meat in my mouth taste even more delicious. After my body had adjusted to digesting blue rare beefsteak, Charles started preparing dishes that were progressively rawer over the next few days. First, he served steak tartare, completely raw minced beef. Then came basashi, a Japanese dish made of raw horse meat. And the final dish, the graduation meal from my raw meat training, was shiru, a dish of live fish. Watching the little fish squirm on the soup spoon, I suppressed the guilt and a flicker of fear before eating them.
Davis, you've lost your mind. This is not something a human being should be eating.
Why not? Charles's skills are impeccable. This tastes 1,000 times better than the live rat I once ate.
Charles, this is all your fault. You're corrupting my son. What kind of monster are you trying to turn him into? Pumpkin! Gouge his eyes out for me.
She's always been like this, resolving everything with violence and blaming others for her misery. But this time, I won't just quietly endure.
Davis, your hand.
It's just a small cut.
Davis, did you really hit your brother because of a servant? He's nothing but a bloodthirsty monster. You should stay far away from him.
I couldn't take it anymore. What absurd delusion was she having this time? Forcing me to see a hairy ape as my brother and demanding I abandon the only person I could confide in. What a joke. I returned to my room and quickly treated my wound. Looking at myself in the mirror, I finally realized something. Ever since switching to a raw meat diet, I feel stronger. My complexion looks healthier and my teeth seem sharper, like a true predator.
Pumpkin! Pumpkin, where are you?
What are she and that crazy monkey up to now? Has the monkey gone missing? That's fine. I should thank whoever got rid of my little brother.
Davis, it's me.
I opened the door for Charles. The metallic scent of blood mixed with herbs wafting from the tray in his hands piqued my curiosity.
You didn't eat much at lunch, so I prepared an afternoon snack for you. This is herb-steamed brain. It's very nutritious and it won't taste too bloody when eaten fresh.
If this were before, the sight of that red brain would have disgusted me for the entire day. But ever since I started eating Charles's raw meat dishes, these faintly bloody meals have become irresistibly appealing to me.
You're really enjoying it, aren't you? I might consider letting you try more organ-based dishes.
Charles, you devil! Get out here and pay for what you've done to my son. Davis, do you even know what you just ate? That's your brother's brain.
I looked at Charles in shock. I never liked that crazy monkey. But what possible reason would Charles have to do something so cruel?
Kill him for me.
Everything happened too fast. Before I could think, the servants stormed in and attacked Charles. Had everyone lost their minds? Who's the real master of this house? I shouted. Stop this at once! The last word caught in my throat as a cold, piercing sensation spread through my chest. I'd been shot? How was that possible?
You ate your brother's brain and defended the devil who killed him. You don't deserve to be my son.
That crazy woman.
Thanks for saying it for me, Charles. It seems he's stronger than I thought. My body felt weak and drained as darkness slowly enveloped me. I thought I was dead, but a sharp pain in my fingertips jolted me awake. I was still alive.
You're alive. Don't be surprised. It's something an ordinary human couldn't survive, but for a vampire like me, it's child's play.
Looks like my blood suits your taste, huh? I bet you had quite the feast.
Aren't you scared?
I was calmer than I expected. There had been so many strange signs, and now that Charles's true nature was revealed, everything started to make sense.
Here's the next dish in your blood-replenishing menu. The liver of the one who shot a hole in your chest.
Even though I knew where that liver came from, I didn't feel disgusted. On the contrary, it made me even hungrier. Perhaps I had already become a bloodthirsty monster like Charles. Charles looked at me with satisfaction, his eyes glowing a fiery red.
Your blood, the blood of someone who only eats raw meat, is the finest I've ever tasted.
Finally done. Now this old house is ready to welcome its new owner. Hopefully the new tenant won't get too attached to it. I'm Susan, a real estate agent, but all the houses I deal with are old properties rumoured to be haunted. Why? Because we're not after rental commissions. What we really want is the deposit money from unlucky tenants. Tenants who can't handle the ghosts I personally create to scare them away. I'm absolutely confident about this scam. This old house has stood for over 70 years and is decorated in a Gothic style. Despite surviving a fire, the house remains mostly intact. This time, the tenant has paid a hefty amount to rent the entire mansion. So I've meticulously prepared everything to welcome my special guest, and I'm hoping he'll flee from this mansion soon enough. My client this time was a man named Paul. He was pretty young, but his way of dressing was, well, a bit odd. He carefully inspected the house, and while he was at it, I quietly observed him too. His suitcase was compact, but he also carried a bag filled with random stuff. Looking closer, I noticed a few exorcism tools inside, silver daggers, holy water, and a crucifix. Looks like I've run into another religious fanatic, I thought to myself. Paul suddenly asked,
Are you Christian too? That rosary you're wearing looks quite special.
I was caught off guard but quickly brushed it off. Yeah, my family's Christian. My aunt's even a nun. I glanced at the rosary and explained, it's a gift from her. But honestly, I just wear it as an accessory. Paul agreed to sign the rental contract on the spot. I smirked inwardly.
Looks like this deal is going to be a smooth one.
Before Paul moved in, I secretly installed hidden cameras around the house to monitor his every move and plan my scare tactics. Watching Paul sleep soundly, I smiled with excitement and began my first night of work. A terrifying scream startled Paul awake, making him look anxiously towards the window. At that moment, I vaguely saw his eyes light up. The window had handprints made of glowing water, a bit of red light, and a horrifying scream from the Bluetooth speaker, creating a spooky scene. I eagerly waited for Paul's reaction, but he seemed unfazed and went back to sleep. Looks like I underestimated him. But no worries, the fun is just beginning. The next day, I printed a picture of a human head, put it in a jar, and placed it in the fridge. I sat in front of my computer anxiously waiting for Paul's reaction, but Paul didn't seem scared at all. He looked straight into the camera and bluntly exposed my prank. I also tied a fake ghost made of white cloth to a string, making it fly in the hallway. Watching Paul's reaction, I couldn't help but suspect he was expecting something truly scary to appear. But whatever the reason, one thing is certain. He has no intention of leaving anytime soon, and I won't give up that easily either. This time, I decided to scare Paul myself. I snuck into the house with a spare key, carrying a large human skeleton model. But as soon as I entered, I saw a charred skeleton rushing towards me. Instinctively, I tried to use the remote to stop it, but it was clearly not one of my controllable props. I had encountered a real ghost. My whole body froze, and I tried my best to scream for help. In my desperation, Paul appeared and splashed holy water on the skeleton, making it scream in agony. I stared in shock at Paul and the skeleton, letting Paul drag me away. Paul calmly drew a strange circle and said,
I am an exorcist. This house once belonged to an English landlord who killed many slaves and fed their hearts to his daughter, believing it would cure her heart disease. I will perform a ritual to help their souls find peace.
I scoffed. You're joking, right? This is just another one of your pranks. Paul didn't argue and splashed holy water in my eyes. Suddenly, my vision cleared. Around me, dozens of ghosts appeared, their faces twisted, eyes burning with hatred. They were all staring at me. I felt like my 27-year-old worldview suddenly collapsed. I wanted Paul to say something to me, but he was focused on his exorcism. The ghost of the landlord seemed to sense the danger. He used the mirror to command the slave ghosts to break Paul's protective circle. I was confused about how to help Paul. Suddenly, the wound on my hand heated up. My arm was being controlled. I remembered the wound was caused by that ancient mirror. The landlord must be using it to control me and harm Paul. Just as my fingers were about to pierce Paul's artery, Paul suddenly opened his eyes, stopped my hand, and grabbed my rosary. With just the rosary beads, Paul easily destroyed all the screaming ghosts around us. As I was about to run to hug Paul, a chilling sensation enveloped me. A strange voice echoed in my head.
Finally, that pesky rosary is gone. Now this body will be mine.
I looked in horror at my transparent body. It turned out they had been targeting my body all along, but I was always protected by the rosary. The landlord sacrificed his soul to trick Paul into breaking my rosary so his daughter could possess my body. I tried to scream for Paul's help, but it seemed no one could hear me. Is this the price I have to pay for exploiting ghosts for my own gain?